Hi everyone! Okay, I know I look creepy while I'm doing this intro, but today I am showing you how to achieve this Jack Skellington inspired skeleton look. It's so awkward talking like this, but I hope you like it, and I think it's pretty easy to recreate, just a couple steps to follow, and honestly, I didn't even try very hard to make it perfect. It was just like, you know what, let's make it look a little grungy, a little shaded, whatever, it's all good. This is Halloween, this is Halloween. Yeah, if you want to know how I achieved this look, then just keep watching. I know it looks scary. Okay, so we're first going to prime the face with the Benefit Porefessional Primer. I like this one because it really sits on top of the pores and the face paint doesn't sink into them as much. Then using my Mehron face paint palette, I'm going to go in and do the whole face white. Now you'll notice that I did take this up like underneath my eyelids and stuff, and I didn't need to do that. So as I'm going, you'll see it goes up a little too far, but I would suggest that you stop maybe about halfway up your nose, because the black face paint is going to go pretty low down in that area, and I had to take it off anyway, so I didn't have any gray paint and weird mixtures going on. So just go about halfway up your nose and leave the rest blank for the black face paint. I really like this face paint, but you definitely need to do at least 2 coats to get it to look as covered as you want it to. So take your time and just work this face paint in. There will be a little bit of patches here and there. So what I did is I took a damp beauty blender or beauty sponge and I dipped that in the white face paint just to go over everything and make it a little bit more evened out. Now we're going to begin to create the outline for the eye socket. So I'm just using a black gel eyeliner. You can use whatever pencil you have. And I'm just creating a general outline of where I want the sockets to go. I'm kind of using a reference picture to look back and forth at to see where I wanted to draw these lines. You'll want to start on the bridge of your nose and then take it downward about halfway down your nose. And then I traced over to the arch of my eyebrow to find that exact point where I wanted the roundness to start. And then just take it down and then across from that bridge of the nose to your arch, and that was a good shape for this look. Then using the same Mehron face paint, I'm going in with the black, and I quickly realized after I started doing this that the white face paint that was there needed to be removed, because as soon as I touched it, it started turning gray. So like I said before, try not to get any of that white face paint up as high as I put it, because I just ended up taking it off anyway. But you get the gist. We're just filling in this outline that we did with black face paint, and what we do on one eye, we do to the other. And just a suggestion, when you're working with this face paint, it is a good idea to keep a cup of water next to you, because I'm constantly going back into the water and then into the paint to get more on my face. Now we're going to take a black eyeshadow. You can use any black that you have, and we're going to take a flat brush and just go over the entire black area with the shadow to set it and make sure that nothing moves or creases. Then with the same eyeliner that I used before, I'm going to line my waterline, and you're going to want to do this on the bottom and the upper waterline. I know the upper is a little bit uncomfortable, but I promise it'll help make this look a lot better. And then once that is done, we're going to take a smaller brush and we're going to create the smile lines for this look. I went in really thin at first, looking at my reference picture, and then went back into thicking it up as I was ready to. You want to be careful with this part, because when I first did it, I made the black on my lips way too thick. I would suggest that you leave it just a nice thin line, almost to match what's going on your cheeks. When you make it too thick, it makes it look like the mouth is halfway open, but the teeth are still there. It was just really strange. So make it a thin line and not quite as thick as I did, because you'll see later it looks different than this, because I went back in with white face paint and erased all kinds of stuff. But yeah. So once you've got that done, you're just going to draw lines upward, of course, to create these teeth. And then across the lines on the cheeks, I went in kind of messy with this. They're not perfectly straight, and I did that on purpose. I wanted them to look a little cartoony. Then, of course, you're going to put lines on the bottom to match everything up. And to clean everything up, I went in with the black face paint around my hairline. You could definitely see my scalp and my skin, so I wanted to cover all of that up. Make sure it's just nice and round all the way around your face and into your scalp and hair. Yes, into your hair. It washes out super easy, so you don't need to worry about that, but it's going to help this look a lot cleaner. And now to create the neck, I just took the black face paint and created semi-straight lines, leaving the center of my neck open, and then just began to fill it all in, moving backwards towards the back of my neck. This part is really easy, but just be sure to look underneath your jaw and make sure it's all black under there and you have a nice clean line. Then of course we're going to take the white face paint to do the center of this here, and don't worry about it going all the way down your neck or all the way back. We're going to put on a shirt in a little bit to disguise all of that stuff, but just make sure the center is completely white and as straight as you can get it. And we're going to hop back up to the face and create the eyebrows here. So what I'm doing is right above the black that's already down, I'm creating a rounded shape, almost like a V, right next to where my real eyebrows are, and then I'm just drawing straight through them and back up, leaving a bit of white in between the eyebrows and the sockets, and that's it. It's pretty simple. If you want to be a little bit more clean with this part, you can totally use some glue, like a glue stick to glue down your eyebrow hair so you don't have that mess going on, but it doesn't matter. And then once you're done with that, that's all the face paint that's going onto the face, so I'm going to start powdering. This is a Revolution Makeup Luxury Baking Powder. It's just a white powder, and I'm going to use that to set all the white paint on my face. Now to create the little nose holes, I'm just going to go off of my own nostrils, and I'm drawing straight up from them, kind of creating like a messy triangle, if you will. They do not have to be even. In fact, if they're different, it almost looks better. I know you can't see too much of what I'm doing right now, but like I said, just a messy triangle going upward, and then the other side can be a little bit different. You do whatever you want, and that is it. And the very last thing we're going to do is shade just a little bit to get some dimension and depth to the look. So I'm taking that same black eyeshadow just very lightly on a small brush, and wherever I have darkness, I'm going to create some shading. So right in the middle of that eyebrow, I'm blending it upward and out of the paint, if that makes sense. You'll want to do that on both eyebrows, of course. Now I'm going to work on the bridge of the nose, so I'm going to the top corner of the sockets and right underneath it on the bridge of the nose too, leaving a little bit of white. And then I'm going to go ahead and trace all the way around these sockets, leaving a tiny bit of white space in between that and the shading. That gives you a little bit of a highlight. You don't want to do it right next to it. And keep in mind that I only dipped into my black eyeshadow one time, and then just continuing to use whatever is left on my brush to do this shading. And that's so you can avoid having any super harsh areas where you've shaded and have to erase anything. Just use a tiny bit and keep working. And for the lines in the lips, I know you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm just using that small brush to go over them to add a little bit more shape and dimension to them, and just adding anything extra where I see it, maybe around the sockets, a little bit more on all those lines on the lips, and that's pretty much it. Then to create the lines on the neck, I went in with that flat brush I used earlier to shade in my eye sockets, and I just have a little bit of black eyeshadow on them again to make 3 little sections. And I'm doing this very messily, very just free-handed. You don't have to be perfect with it. You just want to make it a little bit darker on the very edges next to the black than you do on the center, and connect those 3 lines, and that is it. And you can see that I went and changed into a black shirt so I could cover up the rest of my neck and body. And then just to top everything off, I went and painted my ears black. This was like the most uncomfortable part for me to do. Totally didn't want to do it, but don't worry, it washes out really easily. And that is the finished look, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was easy enough for you to understand, and hopefully you can recreate it yourself. Let me know what you think about it. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.